light of Torah. Cast is like you will study, where you study each insight that is born in you by the light of Torah and by its soul. This is the light of this book of Zohar, and it is all because of you. Excerpt 14 from Rav Tzvi Hirsch. Happy and blessed are we who were rewarded with his light to walk and contemplate the pleasant words of the upper illumination of the holy light. Its taste is sweet, and it is altogether delightful, unending waters, and without limit. To understand and know the acts of creation and the works of the Merkavah, and how to be a chariot to unite and restore the soul to its source, to the root it was hewn from, and this was determined and rooted in my soul. Whoever has not seen the light of the book of Zohar has never seen light.
קטע מספר 15 מתוך נוצר חסד. חיות האדם הישראלי תלוי בספר הזוהר. ללמוד בשמחה ובנועם.
Excerpt 15. The existence of the Israelis depends on the book of Zohar, to study with joy and light and with pleasantness and fear and love, each according to his ability and sanctity, for all Israel are holy. Excerpt 16, Notzer Chesed. Each and every letter in the book of Zohar and the writings of our great teacher, by Rav Chaim Vital, are great corrections for the soul, to correct all the incarnations. 17. A truly new light will be renewed for him at every moment, until an actual new creation is made by means of the Zohar. Excerpt 18 from Degel Machane Ephraim. I heard from Baal Sulam that each day the book of Zohar has a new interpretation. And 19, excerpt 19. The value of studying the book of Zohar is already known, as the Holy Ari said that one day of study in the book of Zohar and the secrets of Torah is worth a whole year of study in the Pshat. 20. From Sichot Haran. When studying the Zohar, one should cry a lot until one is rewarded with understanding. 21. From Pitrei Chochmah, the openings of wisdom. It is written, you shall meditate night, and it is not written, you shall understand it day and night. If you understand, you will. If not, the reward for your study is in your hands. And it is brought in the book of Zohar that even though one does not understand, the language is a remedy for the soul. Excerpt 20 from Or Tzadikim. One who has not been rewarded with understanding the Zohar should study it nevertheless, because the language of the Zohar purifies the soul. Excerpt 23 from Sichot Haran. It is known that the study of the Zohar is very, very beneficial, and one should know that by studying the Zohar one receives a yearning, and the holy language of the Zohar awakens one powerfully towards the service of the Creator. Excerpt 24 from Adir Bamarom. Until the time of the assembly, although they were connected with a covenant between them, but because it was temporary, it was called a covenant in one column, meaning one knot. And now Rashbi wished to connect them to the second knot, to have a strong and fast connection, and the correction that will result from them will be a great correction. These 10 friends were already truly connected in their root, in the 10 chasadim, graces of Abba V'Ima, as stated by the words by the Holy Ari, and Rashbi was the Yesod itself that connected them. Now, in this correction of the assembly, The covenant was tightened with 2 ties, and from there on there is no Satan and an evil blemish. Excerpt 25 from Zohar for All, Ki Tisa. All those friends who do not love each other depart the world before their time. All the friends in Rashbi's time had love of soul and love of spirit among them. This is why in his generation the secrets of Torah were revealed. Rabbi Shimon would say, all the friends who do not love each other cause themselves to stray from the right path. Moreover, they put a blemish in the Torah, since there is love, brotherhood and truth in the Torah. Abraham loved Isaac, Isaac loved Abraham, and they were embraced. And they were both gripped, Jacob with love and brotherhood, and were giving their spirits in one another. The friends should be like them, and not blemish them, for if love is lacking in them, they will blemish their value above, that is, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which are Chagat. We will now continue with a quiet preparation. So please close your phones. We are Zohar for All, portion Tzav, item number 50.
השיעור מבוסס על סדרת ספרי זוהר לעם. ניתן להוריד את הספרים באתר קבלה לעם kab.co.il או להזמינם בטלפון 1-700-509-209.
Hello, we're learning from Zohar for All, the portion of Tzav, command, item 50. You can watch on Kab TV and ask questions there.
Make an effort to be together as one man with one heart as much as possible, so that what we feel between us, in the meantime, this separation will disappear and we'll feel as one body what the Zohar is trying to reform us with.
Item 50. A perpetual fire shall burn on the altar, it shall not go out. This is the Torah which is called fire. It was said about it, "Is not my word like fire, declares the Lord? meaning that it should always shine on the altar, on Malchut. It will not go out. Of course, the fire of Torah will not go out, since a transgression does not put out the Torah, but a transgression puts out a mitzvah, and one who commits a transgression puts out a mitzvah, which is called a candle. Thus, one puts out one's candle from one's body, meaning the soul, of which it was said, man's soul is God's candle. This is putting out, since the body remains in the dark. Thus, one whose actions cause the departure of divinity from her place causes putting out and darkness to that place. And a transgression is darkness, as it is written, and a handmaid that is heir to her mistress, since the transgression, which is the handmaid and the darkness, will inherit the place of the mistress, divinity, who has departed from her place. 51. And the ascension of a mitzvah from the uneducated, who has no Torah, for him the transgression puts out the mitzvah to keep the words, but the wicked ones are silenced in darkness for him. However, among those with Torah, the mitzvah is never put out in them, because they illuminate to the mitzvah with several secrets of the Torah. This is so because light is called Raz, or secret, for light is 207 in Gematria, same as Raz. This implies that the secrets of Torah are lights, and the mitzvah of the Torah that the sages keep are regarded by them as the Torah. It is as it is written, it will not be quenched night or day, since they keep in it what is written. You shall meditate on it day and night. The smoke of the altar wood. 52. The smoke that rises from the mouths of those who study the Torah with words of Torah is like the smoke of the altar wood Malchut. It is called altar wood because she is arranged and set up for Zerampin, her husband. As it is written, when you raise the candles said about the elevation of Malchut, the candles of Zerampin, of which it was said to make a candle burn continually. Malchut is called a candle, and it is in the smoke of the altar wood of the outer altar, where smoke is considered Malchut. In the smoke of the altar wood and the cloud of incense, in the inner altar, where the Torah Zerampin is her smoke, Zerampin awakens from the heart, Bina, and rises to the Chokhmah, which is as the brain because the mind and the heart are her Chub. And the smoke of the altar wood of the inner altar Zerampin will rise for man and will connect Chokhmah and Bina to each other like the cloud, where the awakening of the cloud is from the heart, as it is written, but a mist used to rise from the earth, Zerampin, called mist, smoke will rise from the Bina, the upper land. Subsequently it is written, and water the whole surface of the ground, since once Zerampin rose for man, and received abundance from Chokhmah and Bina, he waters the whole surface of the ground, the Malchut.
53. So will take the smoke awakened from Bina, which is in the heart. As it is written, the heart understands and rises to the Chokhmah, the brain. Smoke is the middle line, Zerampin, which rises, unites Chokhmah and Bina, and becomes a Dat to them. A heart that understands knowledge, Dat, since Dat, the middle line, uniting Chub, rises from the heart, Bina. 54. After the smoke, Zerampin and Dat comes down from Chokhmah to Bina, one to the left and one to the right. Bina on the left to Zerampin, and Chokhmah to his right. He comes down, filled with the abundance of Abba Ve'ima, Chokhmah and Bina, filled with the abundance of Ko, to burn the wood, wise disciples who are from the side of the tree of life, Zerampin. This is why they are called trees, which are the organs of the body, because there is the hay of the tree, the organs of Malchut, who is called body. She is called hay, since the souls of the wise disciples are the offshoots of Zeranpin and Malchut, the intent is certainly to burn them in the flame of the Torah, of which it was said, "Is not my word like fire, declares the Lord," and in the flame of the candle of mitzvot, with love, with the sparks of the fire of the love of mitzvah. 55. It is a mitzvah to sacrifice the continuals each day, and then to light a fire. As it is written, "A perpetual fire shall burn on the altar, it shall not go out." Then there is the contribution of the ashes. Subsequently, it is an offering of a vow or a largesse. Tnaim and Amoraim, all those continuals are the qualities of the Creator, the Sfirot which must have rest. And although all the Sfirot are one, each Sfirah is appointed over Sabbaths and occasions and good days. Each Sabbath and each good day is governed by a different Sfirah. That quality governs at that time, and all the Sfirot are included in it, because all 10 Sfirot are included in each Sfirah, and they are all named after the ruling Sfirah. In Chesed, it is Chasadim, and in Gvura, it is Gvurot. If the ruling Sfirah is Chesed, all 10 Sfirot included in it are called Chasadim. And if the ruling Sfirah is Gvura, all 10 Sfirot in her are Gvurot, and so it is in each quality that governs. Remission of work. 56. There is remission of work on Sabbath and on good days, for each according to its Pchina, like the ox, on which there is the yoke, and the donkey, on which there is the load, between those who have the burden of the kingdom of heaven, like Tfilin, who are exempted on Sabbath and good days, and the burden of the kingdom of idol worship. All have days of remission of work and rest according to their deeds. One who does not engage in Torah and mitzvot has the burden of the kingdom of idol worship, and one who engages in Torah and mitzvot has the burden of the kingdom of heaven, which is the bottom hay of Havaya, called the kingdom of heaven. 57. It is certainly the burden of mitzvot, since all the creations in the heaven and on earth were created in it. For the whole of reality in the three worlds, Biyah, emerged from Malchut. It is written about it, "These are the generations of the heaven and the earth. One day were created," which are the letters of He created them in hay. When Sabbath and a good day come, Bina, Yod, Kei, Vav, Chabad Bina come down over the hay, the kingdom of heaven, and then she is an added Neshama, Bina, carved on the tablets. The tablets are Malchut, and the instilling of Bina on it makes her free from all the klipot. She is the Anochi in the Exodus from Egypt. As it is written, "I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt." Bina spreads her wings on the daughter, Malchut, and on her camps, and they have rest. At that time, it is said about the camps of Sam and the serpent, and all the peoples of the earth will see that you are called by the name of the Lord, and they will fear you. The name of the Lord is the letter of the Tfilin, the letter of Tfilin, the letter of the Sabbath, the letter of a good day, and the letter of the covenant are all the same. It is said about all of them, and all the peoples of the earth will see that you are called by the name of the Lord. 58. And there is a letter of the name Shaddai, the angel Matat, who is called a slave. Several slaves extend from him, which are appointed over those that perform the mitzvot in order to receive reward. Matat and his camps are appointed over them. It is said about them, so that your ox and your donkey may rest. But those who keep the mitzvot not in order to receive reward are the children of the king and the queen, Zeranpin and Malchut. On regular days, they are Ktarim, and crowns over the heads of the slaves. It is for them that they said, one who uses the ketel will die, meaning one who works with the sons, who are crowned to the slaves, passes away from the world, and the foreigner who approaches the sons will be put to death, for during the regular days they are called Sabbaths, with regard to the slaves. Okay. We are trying, most importantly, to connect. And from the connection, when you start to feel, even if you don't feel, feeling together, as a person can see it, to rise and raise that chisaron, that deficiency. We want connection, which is through the mutual force of bestowal, and through that force we will get equivalence of form of the Creator. Please continue.
נרן של חול, נרן של שבת. 59. משום זה אומרים במוסר
Naran of regular days and Naran of the Sabbath. 59. This is why it is said in the supplement for the Rosh Hashanah prayer, if as sons, if as slaves. If as sons, since it is written about them, you are children to the Lord your God. If as slaves, as it is written, for the children of Israel are my servants, and not the rest of the nations. However, those wicked ones who do not engage in Torah and mitzvot, and on whom there is no burden of Torah and the burden of tefillin and the rest of the mitzvot, they are servants to the nations of the world, who enslave them, as in, we were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt. 60. And if they keep Sabbaths and good days, it is said about them, and the Lord brought us from Egypt. And the verse, so that your ox and your donkey may rest, will come true in them, being a donkey in Torah and mitzvot, and the son of your female slave, as well as your stranger, will repose. And an educated one is called a beast, and once he places himself under the discernment of a man in the Torah, the words, O Lord, you preserve man and beast, will come true in him. If he is as a horse, whose master is riding him, and the horse tolerates him and does not kick his master, so he should be, as a horse under the wise disciple. 61. And what is the suffering that the uneducated must tolerate the wise disciple? The wise disciple is like the Sabbath day. He must be as one who has nothing of his own, since the weekdays prepare for the Sabbath, and on the Sabbath there is nothing. And if the uneducated tolerates him with his money and deals with him in doing his wishes, serving him, and behaving in mitzvot according to his will, he will live in him. O Lord, you preserve man and beast. He will preserve him from robbery and from theft. Preserve him from the angel of death, so it does not govern him and slaughters him with his flawed knife. And anything that is slaughtered with a flawed knife is a carcass, of whom it is said, you shall throw it to the dog, who is Sam, who is called a dog. 62. The soul of a wise disciple is called Sabbath the Queen. It is the added nefesh of the Sabbath, and her pleasure is the soul of life and a noetic spirit, ruach, which are the added soul, neshama, the soul of every living thing, and an added spirit to the neshama, ruach, and nefesh, which are slaves that govern the guf during the weekdays. The added neshama is keter, over the head of the righteous, which is the day of Sabbath, Zerampin. His keter is from Abba Ve'ima, and with this added neshama you will praise Ko, of Abba Ve'ima, of whom it was said, neither has the eye seen a God besides you, since they are the Merkavah, for the cause of causes, Arechampin, who is covered, and the eye does not govern him. For this reason the eye does not see Abba Ve'ima too, who are his Merkavah, and from them comes the added neshama of the Sabbath, which are Keter de Zerampin. 63. The added ruach is a river that comes out of Eden, from between Abba and Ima, who is Zerampin, the son of Ko, for he was emanated from Ko. His duration is 500 years, 5 Sfirot Chagat Na, that extend to him from Binah, whose digits are hundreds, hence they are 500 years, and he reaches the 6th Sphira, which is righteous, Yesod, to water the garden, which is the added Nefesh, the Malchut. 64. The Neshama that governs during the weekdays of the servant of the Creator is from the throne, the world of Bria. All the souls stem from under the throne, and the Ruach that governs the servant of the Creator during the weekdays is from the king's servant, Matat, who is in the world of Yetzirah. It includes the 6 orders of the Mishnah, his 6 Sfirot Chagat Nehi, in which he is subordinate to Zerampin, and he is the 6 ascensions of the throne. This is so because Chagat Nehi de Yetzirah are 6 ascensions to the world of Bria, which is called a throne, and the Nefesh that governs during the weekdays is from a throne of Din, from the world of Asiyah, from Sandal, the azure of the tzitzit, as the deed of the pavement of sapphire, which comes from the word asiyah, doing. But the king's daughter is the neotic nefesh of a wise disciple. On Passover he is a night of watching, a kept matzah, extending from Malchut, which is called a night of watching and a kept matzah, for its great merit, and the ruach that is kept corresponding to her is a good day and the day of Sabbath. These are the remember and keep. Ruach is the remember, Zerampin the Sabbath, and Nefesh is the keep, the Malchut, the night of watching and the night of the Sabbath, since Nefesh zzsolt is from Malchut. 65. And so are the disciples of the wise, the children of the king and queen, whose Nefesh is the Malchut zzsolt, and whose Ruach is from Zerampin zzsolt. They are called Sabbaths and good days, and they have nothing of their own, like Sabbaths and good days, for they do not perform work like the rest of the servants, who are the children of the 3 worlds Bia, which are the regular ones. Their reward in this world and in the next world is to delight them with all kinds of food and drink, to honor them with handsome garments, like the Sabbath, of which it was said, honor it with clean garments, and all that one does for Sabbaths and good days should be done for them. 66. And one who desecrates the Sabbath must be stoned. Similarly, one who uses a crown is doomed, and so it is with one who uses one who studies the laws, who desecrates his Torah, and all the more so if he despises him. It is as though he despises Sabbaths and holy days, and the authors of the Mishnah declared, anyone who despises the holy days, it is as though he has become heretical. 67. And all the kelim of the temple, which are called holy, all those who serve the wise disciples are called holy. And the disciples of the Rav, which correspond to the organs of the body of the Rav, are called the Holy of Holies. And the meaning of it is that it is implied in them, and their curtain shall separate for you between the Holy and the Holy of Holies, and Matat and his camps must bring them close, an offering before the Creator each night.
68. The action that must be done to take upon himself the burden of the kingdom of heaven is the acceptance of the torments of poverty, which to the wise disciple is the death of his beastly body. For the good of Torah is the food of the Noetic Naran, or the priest, the Levite, and Israel. In the priest there is Yod, Chochmah. In the Levite there is Hey, Tvona. In Israel there is Dat, Vav. The added Nefesh is the bottom Hey, the Havaya, Malchut, which includes 248 positive mitzvot and 365 negative mitzvot. This law is man, Zeranpin, as it is written. This is the law when a man which includes the explicit name Yod-K, Vav-K, the 4 letters Havaya, filled with Alephs. This is the law. Food for man in his 4 faces, the face of a lion, the face of an ox, the face of an eagle, and the face of a man. Also, there are Chug Tum, because man's face comprises all 4 faces. It corresponds to the food of the beastly body, which is 4 kinds: bread, wine, meat, and all the kinds of fruit. God has made them one corresponding to the other. Bread corresponds to the face of a lion, Chesed. Wine corresponds to the face of an ox, Gvura. Meat corresponds to the face of an eagle, Tiferet. And all the kinds of fruit correspond to the face of a man, Malchut. 69. Each night one must offer a sacrifice of his beastly Naran before the Creator, confess with several kinds of confessions, and elevate them in his thought during the Shema, reading, to bring them out as an offering before the Creator. He should aim to bring out his spirit, Ruach, which beats in the arteries of the heart, and aim for the burning, slaughtering, and snoring of the soul, like the priests who would snore, as it is written, and shall nip its head at the front of its neck, but he shall not sever it. This is the choking. Here there is reception of 3 deaths: burning, slaughtering, which are killing, and snoring, which is the choking. These 3 deaths are as red gall, green gall, and black gall, which are in the liver, in the gallbladder, and in the spleen, and correspond to the 3 shells of a nut. 4 galls correspond to Chubtum, as well as the lung, liver, gallbladder, and spleen, and 4 shells of the nut. He says that the 3 deaths, burning, killing, and choking, correspond to the 3 galls, Bina, Tiferet, and Malchut. The red corresponds to Bina, the green to Zeranpin, and the black to Malchut. Also, death by burning corresponds to what blemished the Chokhmah, death by killing corresponds to what blemished Zeranpin, and death by choking corresponds to what blemished the Malchut. 70. Prior to that, he will correct the altar of stone, aiming to make the stoning, meaning take upon himself death by stoning, which is from the white gall, corresponding to Chokhmah, which governs the lobes of the lung with those attachments, the klipot that attach the lobes of the lung to each, and they cannot blow. These beasts, the beastly Naran, are caught there, and then a zur fire comes down from the Malchut and consumes them, and his beastly Naran are considered pure animals, beasts and foul, to sacrifice them to the Creator and to instill his name over them. At that time, the words, "And you cleave unto the Lord," are alive, will come true in them. They will be as a horse whose master is riding it, a Merkavah for the Creator, as it is written, that you rode on your horses, on your chariots of salvation. At that time, man and beast you deliver, O Lord, which are the Noetic Naran, who are called man, and the beastly Naran, who are called a beast. 71. A wise disciple should see himself equal to all the students of the Torah. This is how he should consider himself from the perspective of the Torah, from the perspective of the Noetic Naran. But from the perspective of the organs of the body, the perspective of the beastly Naran, he should regard himself equal to all the uneducated people. As it is written, one should always see himself as though the whole world depends on him. For this reason, he should aim his mind, spirit, and soul to make those sacrifices with all the people in the world. And the Creator adds a good thought to the act. By that, man and beast, you deliver, O Lord. Okay? Yes.
I have in my new group of 10, a lot of friends that love me.
Love you? And then last 10?
I've
So, so the new 10, they haven't met you yet, and so they love you. That's what I'm hearing.
Amnon, Itzik, I feel I want to actually donate to them. What's the best thing to donate to them to give them improve their mood?
And quiet. Even without speaking. Even without actions that they can see. Let them study. Let them take part. Give them example that you, as much as you love them, and support them in all of the 10. And that's it. Because if you start to do it in actions and in words and in so many different things, and who knows what states they're in and how much you're disturbing them. But if you do it quietly, sensitively, then it can be useful. The taking part in the group is not by making a lot of noise. It's by a person causing slowly the warm atmosphere, the wanting to be at the center of the tent. Not necessarily through words, but for it to be felt. Try to do it from heart to heart. Yes, Dudi.
What does it mean to see himself waited for the Torah and waited for the whole world?
Because man consists of the whole world. So everyone here has to be integrated with the whole reality. Yes.
What does the world depend on him?
On everything. What do you mean? If the whole world is everything that I see, is the projection of what's going on internally, then in other words, in what I'm doing, my own corrections, and I'm correcting the world. There's no world. We are in a perception of reality that's incorrect. What can we do? It'll work itself out. We'll feel that really what the Torah is writing is correct. That person is the whole world. Yes, Amnon.
Well, in order to feel the Zohar, we need the connection between us, even though we don't understand anything that's written. My question is, how should this be revealed, discovered in corporality or spirituality?
First of all, that we don't understand is not an argument. It's not that we don't understand because we don't have the brains for it. It's because we are not organized in our minds to understand it quite yet. It can't enter it yet. It's like in a square hole, you can't put something round into it. That's why we need to work on our reception, our way of how we are able to correct our means of reception, our antenna.
And the connection between us, the spiritual,
that is exactly the correction of the tools, the kelim. Our connection is correcting those kelim, those tools, in a way that the Torah will be able to enter us. What do you mean by that? It's the light that was from the 10 Sfirot, and it left, and it took from it the impressions of the Havaya, and its shape, that it's within, if it's a square or a circle, it doesn't matter. And you need to prepare yourself so that it can enter.
But when it actually gets itself, its format stays there.
I need to make of myself the correct format of receiving the light. The shape of the light, in order to bestow. And in order to bestow, it's according to my degree.
But if I'm totally the will to receive, how can I then bestow?
The will to receive is the same. It's the intention, the kavanah, that you correct towards bestowal.
How does this come from the reforming light? How does this intention come to me? From the beginning,
No, it's not your intentions or kavanot. Kavanot, intentions. Kavanah, intention, is something that comes from the heart, from the kli, the tool, the vessel. You are not the owner of your heart. You want to say, you can say as much as you want to be in bestowal. It doesn't help. It's the reforming light that comes. And why is it called the reforming light? Because it's not a regular light. It's the light, that force that reforms your intention, your kavanah, from in order to receive, in order to bestow. And that's why it's called the reforming light. It doesn't matter the intention. It doesn't change the intention. It changes for what your intentions are for.
And that light is within our connection between us.
It's exactly for that. Okay. There's some kind of questions here that are not exact.
Rav, if you don't feel anything, you just bite your lips by sitting here. I don't understand what you told him.
It doesn't matter if you don't understand.
Why should I sit here without a book, with a book? Why should I sit here?
To sit here in order to give the Creator an opportunity to work on you. That's it. What else? That you are going to change by yourself? No. That you're going to improve? No. That you're going to be better? Only the way that the upper force, the Creator, is reforming you and influencing you. That's why you're sitting and expecting the corrections. Yes? Yeah, it influences you. Even if you were sleeping, even if you didn't understand the language, even if we were just reading and you didn't understand, it still influences you. Even if you come here and you sleep the entire time, then there's still the reward that you get. That you made the effort to come here, that you came here to be here, that you maybe paid for the bus or the taxi or something, that you came here. You gave some exertion to be here, and time and effort that you gave up on something else. And maybe if you could have done something else, like lifting weights that you love to do. And you say, no, it'd be better that I would be here, lifting lights.
But it doesn't feel like that's within inside me.
It doesn't matter if you feel it. It's not being asked of you. Just do it this way. And you, the small mind, that's what you're doing. Your eyes closed. It doesn't matter how much, because by the end of your life, you have to keep coming. You have to keep coming. And if I get something, no, nothing. Just contentment to the Creator. Am I going to feel that I'm doing anything? No, I don't want to feel it, because then it will be a reward. And it will be in order to receive a prize. So you're here now in the best state. You're not getting anything. Just give up on that you want to get something. And then you're already in spirituality. I'm not kidding. After all, sit, continue. Believe me. It's also written. It's not that I'm just telling you. And from that you will be rewarded.
72. זאת תורת העולה.
Isaac's fire. 72. This is the law of the burnt offering. This is the law, is the assembly of Israel. The offering is an evil thought that appears in man's desire to divert him from the path of truth. It is the offering that rises and slanders against a person. It must be burned in fire to not allow it to slander. For this reason, upon the altar, all night. Night is the assembly of Israel, which is called this, in the beginning of the text, to purify man from this desire. 73. On its firewood means in the river of fire, the place to burn all those who are not as they should be. They are brought through that burnt fire, and their governance is removed from the world to prevent it from ruling. It must be on its firewood all night, and it surrenders and does not govern. 74. It is written, and behold, the Lord was passing by, and a great and strong wind was rending the mountains, not by the Spirit of the Lord. And the great and strong wind is the stormy wind that stands prior to everything and keeps the Kedusha as the klippah that keeps the brain. It is written, and after the wind a noise, not by the noise of the Lord. Noise means, as it is written, then the wind lifted me up, and I heard a great rumbling sound behind me. Blessed be the glory of the Lord in his place. This is after the wind, like the rumbling of Elijah. Here the noise is because we say, blessed be the glory of the Lord in his place. And after the noise there is fire. As it is written, a river of fire passes and comes out from before him. And this is the fire that Elijah saw. 75. It is written, the image of the animals appeared like coals of fire, burning like the appearance of torches, darting among the animals, and there is brightness to the fire, and lightning came forth from the fire. The fire that Elijah saw. These fires are a milkavah to the Malchut. It is written, and after the fire a sound of thin silence. The sound is the last sound, Malchut, silence, for she has nothing private of her own. Instead she is stilled from herself, because Malchut has nothing of her own, but Zeranpin gives her everything. And when the Sfirot the Zeranpin gather about her, to impart upon her, she is heard in all the worlds, for all the worlds Bia receive from her, and are all startled by her. She is called thin silence, because she is thinner and smaller than all the Sfirot in the Atzilut. 76. A perpetual fire burns at the altar. It will not be put out. This is the fire of Isaac. As it is written, here are the fire and the wood. They are dinim that extend from the left line prior to his inclusion in the right line. The perpetual fire always stands in Malchut, so she will receive the chasadim from Zeranpin. And the trees are the trees of Abraham, the chasadim that extend from the right line. It is written about it, and the priest shall kindle wood on it in the morning, And the priest is a man of chesed. 77. Isaac's fire, the din of the left line of Zeranpin, comes down and reaches the altar, Malchut. An ember comes out to the east, an ember to the west, an ember to the north, and an ember to the south, which is Chug Tun, to the four corners of the altar. And the priest brings her back to the four corners. The ember comes from the north, the left line, the fire of Isaac. Thus, it should have come to the north side of the altar. But the priest, Chesed, right line, accepts this ember, which is from the left. He is included in it, and it in him, through the middle line. Israel. The altar itself, Malchut, which receives it, is included with it as well, and thus the amber is included in all three lines, south, north, and east, and in Malchut. By that, it reaches the four corners of the altar through the piece. 78. There is a lamb in the altar, a degree that the priests stand on to work in the altar. It has certain degrees in it, Chagat Nehim, and the lowest degree, Malchut, in it, reaches and descends to the upper deeps, Bina de Klippa, out of one foreman that reaches through the deep. When these embers reach the four corners of the altar, a spark of fire awakens from them and descends through the hole into that upper deep. From that spark, the Klippa receives the strength to punish the wicked. 79. In that place, on the ramp, there are armies over armies, saying holy with a great and high voice. From the right line, Chesed. From another side, they say holy, with a voice of high pleasantness. From the left line, Gvura. And from another side, other armies say holy. From the middle line, Tiferet. So it is in the four corners of the ramp, and at each corner stand three groups, saying three times, holy. These correspond to the 12 combinations of the diagonal, which are the four Prinot Chugtum, in which there are three lines, and there are 12. In 600,000 armies, 6 is Chagat Nehi, the illumination of Bina is hundreds, and from the Chokhmah she is 1,000, and from Ketil tens of thousands. Zzsolt is armies, meaning there is the illumination of Gar on them, and they are at each corner of the ramp, and there is one appointee over them, and all wear a vest, garments of priesthood, and stand on the ramp to arrange the work of the altar, Malchut, corresponding to the lower ones in the temple. 80. In another place, opposite from the ramp, there are the noisy waves of the sea. As it is written, and he raised a stormy wind that lifted up its waves. This is as it is written, and after the wind a noise, when they descend in degrees, and their armies speak in a pleasant voice. Blessed be the glory of the Lord in his place. It is written about it, then the wind lifted me up, and I heard a great rumbling sound behind me. Blessed be the glory of the Lord in his place. This is so because they stand opposite the armies that stand on the ramp of the altar, saying three times, holy, holy, holy. And opposite them they praise and say, blessed be the glory of the Lord in his place. And they all praise with singing and do not keep silent, at day or at night, and all praise with a pleasant voice. 81. In another place, there are armies that stand with fear, quivering and trembling. As it is written, they were high and they had fear. Also, those who say holy correspond to Chesed, right line. Those who say blessed correspond to Gvura, left line. And those who are here correspond to Tiferet, the middle line. Hence, there are no innovations in them, because all the innovations are on the right and on the left, and the middle line adds nothing to them, but includes them both within it. And everyone looks to the altar above, Malchut, meaning receives their abundance. 82. When the fire of Isaac arrives, the name of the left line, on the altar, several glimmers rise and fall to each side, and out of those, several fierce ones, with strength, mighty ones of the world, heat up. And if the priest did not stand on the altar to arrange the wood, the world would not be able to resist them. Those embers and glimmers that come out of them, setting ablaze the backs of animals, As it is written, the image of the animals appeared like coals of fire, burning like the appearance of torches. 83. From the right side of these animals awakens one wind, ruach, from above, from chesed zzranpin, which blows and settles in the fire of the animals. It heats up, becomes perfumed and blazing, and is silent in the precious effulgence, illuminating to several armies, which are on the right side. On the left side of the animals there awakens another strong wind, from Bura de Zranpin. It shatters rocks and blows in the fire of the animals and becomes stronger and intensifies. At that time, that fire, the wind from the left side of Zranpin, dresses in her and shines to several armies that stand on the left side of the animals. So it is to the four directions Chuktum, to the four camps, which extend from the four directions Chuktum de Zranpin, four directions to four camps in the Chuktum of the animals, and all are perfumed when the priest steps up on the altar. Yes. One more small effort for connection. Please continue. 2 altars. 84. 2 altars are below and 2 altars are above. In the 2 altars above, one is more internal than all, and thin, inner incense is offered in it, the tie of faith. And the highest priest ties this incense with the tie of faith. This is called the altar of gold. From here the tie of faith is smoked and tied to tie everything in one connection. 2. And one is another altar called the altar of copper. It is on the outside, and Michael, the great minister, offers a scent offering to the Creator on it. 2 altars are below in the temple, the altar of gold and the altar of copper. In one it is incense, and in one it is tallow and internal organs. There are 3 Parzufim in Malchut, clothed in one another. Parzuf Chabad is the most internal, Parzuf Chagat clothes over it, and Parzuf Nehi clothes over that. They divide into internal and external, where Parzuf Chabad is internal and the 2 Parzufim Chagat Nehi are external, and incense is Bina. One altar is the inner Parzuf of Malchut, Chabad, the innermost of all of her 3 Parzufim. In it, the internal and fine incense is offered, implying to Bina which is too fine to attain. This makes the tie of faith Malchut in the incense. Bina, Chochmah called the great priest, ties incense Bina to the altar. In the inner Malchut, this is so because Bina is called gold after the incense in Malchut, which is Bina, and called the altar of gold. Through the tie of Bina and Malchut, all the Sfirot are tied in one connection, meaning they all unite with one another. The altar is in her vak in the 2 external Parzufim, Chagat Nehi, and Michael, the great minister, offers an offering on it, the offering of the souls of the righteous.
המזבח שבבק שלה, שבבית הפרצופים החיצוניים חגת נהי. ומיכאל השר הגדול מקריב עליו קורבן, קורבן של נשמות הצדיקים. 85. ועל כן...
85. This is why it is written, oil and incense rejoice the heart. And it is not written, oil and tallow and internal organs rejoice. Although they too are a mitigation of the anger and the din, like the oil and incense. However, there is a difference. Oil and incense implied a unification of Chub, since the oil is Chochmah and the incense is Bina. They are the joy of all, and not from the side of anger and din, since in them themselves there is no din at all. But the tallow and the internal organs by which the unification of Zranpin and Malchut is made, It is not said about them, will rejoice the heart, since there is a grip to the dinim in them. And this is the inner altar, where the finest incense, bina, which cannot be attained due to its fineness, is in a tie of faith, meaning that she ties to Malchut, who is called faith. It is called a voice, a thin silence, since it is the inner altar tied in the tie of faith. 86. The inner one is called the altar of God, and another altar is called the outer altar. The altar of copper, as it is written, for the copper altar that was before the Lord was too small to contain. It is written, and whole burnt offerings on your altar, where the letter chet is skula, special merit or remedy, which indicates plural, meaning two, and it is written, even your altars, O Lord of hosts, which means two. 87. There is only one altar here, which is sometimes called internal and sometimes external. It is written, and Moses built an altar. He built it opposite the internal one. This is why it is called the Lord is my banner, since the inner one is called the altar of Havaya. My banner means he inscribed and corrected the inscription of the token of the Holy Covenant. Since when Amalek came to remove this holy inscription, the circumcision from Israel, that altar, the Malchut, stood opposite him to avenge the token of the covenant. This is why Malchut is called a sword, and that avenges the vengeance of the covenant. And Malchut corrected the holy inscription for Israel. And corresponding to that, Moses built this altar and called Lord is my banner. This is the inner altar, called a sound of thin silence. 88. It is said about the inner altar, a perpetual fire shall burn on the altar. This is Isaac's fire, dinim of the left line, which are always present, and the name of the altar is Adni, din, and then it is called outer altar. And when the priest arranges the wood over it, chasadim, that left line clothes in them. The name of the altar is perfumed, and it is called by the name of Rachamim, the altar of the Lord, Havaya, which is then the inner altar. But there are two separate altars. Rabbi Shimon said, there were two. An inner one stood over the altar on the outside, clothing one another, since the inner Parzuf of Malchut is clothed in the outer Parzuf. The outer is nourished by the inner one, and they are tied to one another.
והחיצוני ניזון מהפנימי, ונקשרים זה בזה. 89. צדיק השם בכל דרכיו, וחסיד בכל מעשיו.
89. The Lord is righteous in all his ways, and kind in all his deeds. People should regard the glory of their master, and they will not stray from their ways outwards, since each and every day, Din is hanging in the world. For the world was created in Din and stands on Din.
יושב בביתו, שורה עליו הדין. יוצא מביתו לחוץ, שורה עליו הדין.
For this reason, one must be careful from one's iniquities, because he does not know when the din is on him. When he sits in his home, the din is on him. When he leaves his home to go outside, the din is on him, and he does not know if he will return to his home or not. For he could die and not return to his home. When he leaves for the road, it is all the more so. So he should fear that he will not return to his home, for then the din goes out before him, as it is written, righteousness will go before him. For this reason one should first ask for mercy before the king to be saved from the din when it is in the world, since the din is in the world each day, as it is written, and God is angry each day.
Okay. Yes.
I just want to ask about the connection in the Tish on Friday. it's very felt that you're taking us to a new place, and we want to have this inclusion from all the tens, and our 10 feels that you are in our 10. We're already there, as much as we can. We're like babies. We just wanted to ask, as a 10, how can we, together with you as one in that tish, to pass over warmth and connection to all of the society, and how can we actually get all of the 10s to that state, to be one body that feeds each other?
That I'm also asking. In that we are equal. I understand what there needs to be, but I don't know how to do it. Because myself, I haven't gotten to that yet in what I've gotten so far. So I'm really telling you, here is the last generation. And the people that were not connected in any way are rising up and wanting to be close together in the correct connection between them for the last generation in order to reveal the Creator. And how to do it? I don't know. I'm thinking about it, and I don't know what kind of gathering to do. First of all, it should be here. Not downstairs in the meal hall. It could be because of the time. That's right after the meal. Yeah, it's right after the meal. I don't know. Really, I don't know anything. I think that we need to think with true deepness. What do we need to organize? What do we need to do? And have a new organization that it will be opposite of what we had. To really go by the heart. To ask ourselves, what can we add to our progress towards the Creator so that He will connect between us? What do we need to do? I don't know. The question is really a question. When we're together, it'll be a lot better than to just be a single 10. That we want to reach out of the boundaries of a 10 into something more. It'll have to help us towards the connection. That it will be in quality. That it will be greater, stronger, better. It will be more spiritful. But in actual organization, I don't know. Need to maybe some intentions, kavanot, to look and bring for the tish. Usually tish here is in silence. Maybe say a l'chaim, sing 2 or 3 nigunim, melodies that are calm. Everyone enters in one kavanah, one intention, one heart, that they're really trying to feel ourselves as one man with one heart in one place. And that gives the opportunity for the Creator to be revealed and to bring Him contentment. So that even if we don't feel it, this is the point, even if we don't feel anything, we have to be sure that we are bringing Him contentment. And it will even be good that we don't feel anything. It means that our work is going towards the collection of many of these actions that will work towards over the Masach and will feel the actual benevolence of the actions, that it's above the corporeal reward, and then the Creator will be revealed. We have to think. Yeah.
I just want to ask, or to clarify, we had this feeling, because of the change, if we come before and as a team and come and connect to 10, and our 10 will be 1, and we'll feel other 10s as the first 9, is that the direction to build a 10 as 1, and then each one will actually build the others? Would that be good preparation for the Tish?
I don't know, the Tet Rishonot and Nine Sfirot. If you can answer these kind of scrutinies. But you said it nicely, that if every 10 before the Tish will feel and prepare themselves towards the connection with the other 10s, that'll be good. I think it'll be good. Again, I'm saying what I think. The best is that life will talk. We'll check. Yeah.
One extra small question. One other thing that happened, that we tried to actually feel your lack. It's something that we can't even, a 1/1,000,000th, we can't actually feel it. But as a 10, in the Tish, when you're the head of the Tish, is that the right direction to feel the lack that Rav has? Even though it's nothing we can really feel, but via this to ask, is this a right direction?
No. No, I don't recommend it. Friends are friends. You can't have between them someone who is highlighted even as the center. Everyone needs to be alike. The Tish needs to be very like a Tish with the Hasidim, with the Rebbe. What we need to do is have connection between us, that we're all equal. All are equal. I don't want to be in the center. I don't want anything special. You need to prepare yourselves for connection. All of the connection for the 10s between themselves, and that all the 10s will be together, and not that I'm organizing the Tish, and not that I'm in the center of it. No, really no. We are causing connection for all of the 10s into one 10. That will be our concern. Everyone will be concerned for that, for the 10s.
הנה מה טוב שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב שבת אחים גם יחד.